Alright, hey there folks, this is Tim, and tonight I'm doing some exploration in Elite Dangerous, and I'm actually continuing an expedition that I have been on, and let me get into the galaxy map and show you exactly where I'm going. Okay, so I should have actually been at that waypoint tonight, but unfortunately I did not check how far apart these actually were. I thought it was going to be a much shorter run than it actually is. So what I would like to get done tonight is to get to this waypoint tonight, which is 2,686 light years, so it's not going to be a short journey. As you can see, I have a little bit of height to get through, as well as kind of straight line distance. I'm going to try to estimate maybe a third about there for this navigation run. There we go. So that's a route plotted. You can see the stars are fairly well spaced at this elevation level. So you can see it does have to go back and forth a little bit. So it's a decent run though. Okay, so sound looks good, stream looks good, no dropped frames, and hello to Dumbledale in the chat. Very good to have you here already. Let me bring the chat up so that I can see Twitch as well. There we go. Super, there we go. All done. So as you can see, I put at the top of the stream now, I try to put what I'm doing, and that's to kind of help people that dip in and out of streamers. It should be pretty obvious immediately when they come on my channel that whether they want to watch or not. They can see exploration, don't expect much action, just chat and some nice views. So that's what I'm going to be showing you tonight, essentially. Okay.
Fuel scooping.
First planet here looks a little bit interesting. I think I'll go and check it out. I don't think it's anything that special. But I think we've all been fooled before by the system map in Elite Dangerous. And most of us, that's something that we're looking forward to being fixed in version 2.2, which is supposed to be released next month. Because the visuals that you'll see in the galaxy map are supposed to be the same visuals as what you would see when you actually fly up to the planet. So it should be a lot easier to judge when a planet is actually worth going to do a deep scan. You woke up a few minutes ago and your computer was running rather hot. I'm glad that you woke up then. Really. That could have been a nasty situation. Oh, I had a commercial before the stream. Like, I do monetize my videos. I don't really know how they work with streaming though. I do have a play ad button on the admin for the stream, but I've never pressed it yet. Kind of worried to see what it might do. I don't know. Like, what would be cool is if we were able to set up like an ad for the channel, so like a streaming, like a video of what I cover on the channel or anything like that, and to be able to use that as a be right back kind of video would be pretty cool. But no, what it probably is it's probably somebody that is just a normal monetized ad. Yeah, that is true, but I actually went through the trouble of making these videos for each game that I cover. You probably saw one last night. I made them earlier this week. I'll just show like a second of it. But I made these kind of be right back videos that contain clips from the Elite Dangerous trailers that they put out when I'm streaming this game, obviously. And then when I'm streaming Star Citizen, I made one for Star Citizen as well, just kind of pulling out a few clips from the trailers. Ideally, you know, I would like to use my own screenshots, my own footage, but I kind of just wanted to throw something together and see how it worked before putting too much time into it.
Fuel scoop disengaged.
Yeah, I think they look quite nice. You know, I've not really seen another streamer with things quite like that. Huh, okay. Thanks, Lassie. I really wasn't sure how it worked, but I guess everybody gets a commercial in the beginning then. So it's kind of like you watching a normal YouTube video then.
Fuel scooping.
And I guess they vary between the kind of videos, like some of them you can't skip, some of them after 5 seconds and stuff like that. The only annoying thing really with that is that if I'm live streaming and you join the stream, then if it's a 30-second non-skippable ad, then you're missing 30 seconds of the beginning of the stream, aren't you? That's kind of crappy. I hadn't thought about that at all.
Fuel scoop disengaged.
Hello to Dimitri. And hello to Lassie as well. I spoke to you without saying hi. And hello to the follower on Twitch too that just followed. Just so that you know, the majority of people that watch my stream watch it on YouTube, because I do dual stream. I stream to both Twitch and YouTube. But if you want to watch on Twitch, that's absolutely fine. I can see your chat messages on Twitch just fine. Gosh, this is a long scan. Finally. Let's have a quick look what kind of atmosphere that was. Argon rich. You know, I never used to get argon rich planets. I wonder if they put that kind of atmosphere in later. Seem to get them all the time now.
Fuel scooping.
Okay, that's good to hear, Marco, that you follow on YouTube too. That's good. I usually post kind of a shorter edit of the live streams the following day if I have time, so that people that don't catch it live, they don't have to watch kind of a 2-3 hour video. So yeah, it's always good to follow me on YouTube too. Yeah, it's certainly very strange for your system fans to be going that fast. What I've actually had happen before though, this was with a laptop actually. What I normally do with my laptop, I just close the lid when I finish work. And what Windows 10 did, somehow, and I still don't really know how it actually did it because my computer was obviously asleep. My computer woke up and my computer started to install a Windows 10 update. And then in the morning, I went to my laptop. It was so hot, and the fans were blowing like crazy. And I opened up the laptop lid, and it was a black screen. So I had to do a hard reset. This jump is taking a long time, isn't it? Maybe it wants me to finish my story. I had to do a hard reset of the laptop, and when it restarted, it said that it was continuing to install a Windows 10 update. So somehow Windows 10 had completely kind of screwed up my laptop, and then when it was installing the display driver, it had messed up to the point where it wasn't even displaying anything on the built-in screen. It actually did it again with the next update, but I didn't hard reset it that time. I actually plugged in a second screen, and it for some reason it was trying to output to a second screen when I didn't have one plugged in, and when I did plug it in, I could see the desktop on that one. So this is unusual. I think I might have just jumped there, but never mind. Just going to restart Elite Dangerous. So yeah, Windows 10 does really weird things, but I know that you don't use Windows 10, right? Or was this your Windows machine? Hello to OG Gaming. That was a little weird. Like I very, very, very rarely get crashes with Elite Dangerous, and I think I'm lucky the time zone that I live in. I'm usually on when the servers are very low load, and it actually means I've experienced far less bugs and things with Elite Dangerous than most users. Being a like a non-Windows gamer, how does that work out for you? You obviously have a limited amount of things you can obviously play, right?
Power plant capacity exceeded.
What am I doing? So for some reason, when I crashed, it's changed my fire groups. Or has it?
Power plant capacity exceeded.
What? Where is my scanner thing? It's just appeared over on the left-hand side. What was that? Okay. Maybe it's because I'm not in Super Cruise. Is that what it is? This is weird. Like, honestly, it's so rare for me to get any kind of crash or issue with Elite Dangerous. Okay, so now I can see the D scanner. Okay. I was freaking out for a minute there. Alright, so this system is largely useless. Oh, and that's annoying. I've lost my navigation route. Alright then. So I'm going to take some of the height difference to the next waypoint away. And then I'll try to give myself as close as I can get to 1,000 light years. Which, probably about there. Yep, 946. Okay. Yeah, I've seen that on Steam because I ran a Mac for a little while before I realised that most of the tools I had to use for work I would have to use Apple Boot Camp anyway. So I switched back to a Windows PC. But I used a Mac for a little while, and I do remember seeing the icons for Mac next to Windows in Steam. Yeah, that was one of the annoying things with the Mac too, is how often I... Oh yeah, you're right, I'm getting drop frames now too. So I wonder if the drop from Elite Dangerous was my end, not Elite Dangerous. Well, this is annoying. Okay, if you're watching on Twitch, you'll probably need to reset the page, reload the page in a moment. I'm going to restart the stream, I think, if this doesn't stop. Yeah, I have a huge amount of upload right now, way more than I even usually set, but I'm still dropping frames. So I'm actually going to switch streaming servers, and then I will be right back. YouTube should reload and start playing again by itself. Twitch, you'll need to reload the page. Okay, so YouTube is back. Hopefully people on Twitch were able to restart. Normally if I have an issue that hasn't gone away with a restart, it starts again dropping frames straight away, but I'm not seeing any issues, so I think that fixed it. Okay, so this system was junk, right? Yes. Next system. I switched streaming servers from a Texas-based one to a Washington, D.C. based one. Washington, D.C. it's 1:26 a.m. so I assumed that their server load is less and I might be more lucky there. Yeah, 2.2 looks like it's going to add some things that I'm really interested in, for sure. When 2.2 actually becomes fully public, I will actually still be on this exploration journey, I think. So I should actually get to see some of those neutron stars in this game, or in this player. that might be an Earth-like world, and that's interesting too. It might be... that might be a water world. It could be an Earth-like world too, though. The lighting is a little bit different to a normal system. But I'm going to check this one out for sure. Hi Frey, how are you?
Fuel tube disengaged.
Oh, yes, and what I was going to say before the streaming issues was that when I had an Apple Mac, you know, it was really quite annoying having to find these hacked drivers that some third party had made, and be having to install that and use that because manufacturers really don't support their hardware for the Apple Mac. I mean, it was simple things like webcams and stuff like that that I felt, you know, it was amazing that they weren't just kind of plug and play on the Mac, but they weren't. It was quite frustrating for someone that had been a Windows user pretty much up until that point. It was kind of like an alien world. But, you know, I quickly got used to it. I found that, you know, that it was easy enough to actually, you know, hack drivers and find hacked drivers from other people. But, yeah, it was kind of annoying, and I can imagine your experiences being very similar. So let's see, what would my percentage be here? I guess 70% sure that this is an Earth-like world, and I really hope that it is. No. How disappointing. Let's do a quick flyby, because, I mean, that looked so much like an Earth-like world on the system map. But now that I'm close here, I actually don't see any water. Yeah, I mean, it looks like it's kind of solid brown with weather systems. So I'm not really sure where the water comes from for the weather systems, but who am I to argue with David Braben? Yeah, that's one of the things that always made me laugh when people would say, you know, you should get an Apple Mac because they're way more secure. And I would, you know, it makes me laugh, really. It's just that, no, they're not really more secure. It's just that if someone wants to make a virus to disrupt as many people as possible, they're going to make one for Windows. You know, it makes literally no sense for someone that wants to disrupt the lives of as many people as possible to do anything else. But there have been quite a few just lately targeting Apple Mac. I always still want to say Apple Macintosh because the first Mac that I used when I was at college. It was the I guess it was like a foot wide and 2 feet tall, and everything was contained within this tower. I don't know what the model was or anything, but it was kind of cream colored, and we used Photoshop and I think an early version of InDesign, which was a magazine layout program, when I was at college. I almost always overshoot. Wasn't really expecting that one to be an Earth-like world, but still, it's not really finding very many Earth-like worlds on this journey. I think I've had one on the entire journey. So that one's carbon dioxide rich, that one's methane rich.
Fuel scooping. Fuel scoop disengaged.
Yeah, something like that is really nice, that you can take out a hard drive from one machine, put it in another, and it just works. I think from Windows 7 onwards, you could sometimes get away with that, even with Windows, though, as well.
Fuel scooping.
There was actually a few people that tried to do it that I know. I think Windows 7 had more issues with it than Windows 10 does. But yeah, it's a pretty common support issue for me to have to tell people to install drivers for their motherboard and things. Way more common than you would expect.
Fuel scoop disengaged.
It's like if Microsoft doesn't actually nag them to do something, they don't do it. So basically, if someone swaps a Windows 7 drive from one PC to another, Windows will probably nag them to activate Windows, which if they've switched PCs, then basically it'll be about calling Microsoft to say, yes, I have this on one PC. And then once you've done that, then there's kind of things that most people use their PCs for, which is
Fuel scooping.
nothing really, because the majority of PC users do not use them for games, most certainly. Then it'll work. but the amount of people that expect a game to be able to run when they haven't bothered to install manufacturer drivers and all sorts of things, it's pretty amazing.
Fuel scoop disengaged. Fuel scooping.
That's an interesting one. It's very close to the star, so I actually don't think it's an Earth-like world, but... and I just unselected it. It's force of habit to press for the next system en route. How far am I from Sol? Actually, I should slow down a little bit.
Disengaged.
There we go. I don't think I'm that far right now. I am 9,905 light years, and this is the route that I'm taking towards Sagittarius A, and I am there right now. There we go. Well, oftentimes all you need for a driver is maybe 2-3 different files, and most of those will be, well, 2 of those usually will be a simple text file that references things in the other files. You know, you can fit a lot of drivers into 30 megs. And actually, you know, that the issue with a lot of drivers that you download is they have a huge amount of junk that is shipped with them, and utilities and things that they bundle with the driver. And I always seem to spend most of my life when I format my PC. I actually spend most of my time disabling things from starting up. But yeah, I mean, if it's basic driver support, I can totally understand them being able to support a lot of things with 30 megs.
Fuel scoop disengaged.
think the only time I've ever done anything in any kind of programming language was actually back, because I understand code when I read it, but I don't code. I work for a software developer, but yeah, the last time I actually did anything, it was with probably the VIC-20 or the Commodore 64, and like this was my childhood was actually kind of my whole family sitting around the computer typing in line after line after line for, I think it was like maybe 4 or 5 hours sometimes. There was one time that my dad tripped over the cable on his way out of the room, and obviously that completely loses everything that you've just spent hours doing. But awesome childhood. You know, I love computers because of my parents spending that time with me.
Fuel scoop disengaged.
And I made sure a few years back, you know, when I realized, you know, where I came from and, you know, why I enjoy what I do and everything like that, I realized, you know, this is actually down to them spending time with me. And I made sure to thank them for kind of supporting what I wanted to do rather than trying to mold me into whatever they wanted, because they were very supportive of me using computers.
Fuel scooping.
So many gas giants. Still have Commodore VIC-20, Commodore 64, and an Amiga 600 right next to me on the shelf in their boxes. And I have a 1541 5-inch floppy drive, and I can't remember the model number, a 1530 C2N cassette unit as well. And the cassette unit, I think it worked on both the VIC-20 and the 64, the same cassette unit. And obviously the Amiga was the time when moved to 3.5-inch floppies. My Amiga is actually all kind of souped up. It has a whopping 8 megs of RAM, because I've done some upgrading, like aftermarket upgrades. It even has a VGA out, my Amiga does, because it did have an RF modulator and an RF out, and I put another board inside that allows it to have a VGA out. Yeah, it is. It's an absolute beast. I think the maximum that I had when I was a kid was 1 meg, because I actually can't remember whether it came with 512 or whether it came with 1 meg, but I remember that Elite 2 needed a meg, and sometimes I would have to kind of reset and everything to be able to play Elite 2 sometimes. Or was that on the PC? Maybe I'm confusing things. Okay, so that is probably not that interesting. That one looks like the same thing. No, I'm not going to bother going to see any of those. Streaming issues right now, as far as I can tell, would have to be your end. My end looks okay.
Fuel scoop disengaged.
Yeah, mine says 0 dropped frames. The clock is still moving. 50% CPU and 36, 37, 100 kilobits a second.
Fuel scooping.
I still don't know, if anybody has tried to fly from one object to another within Elite. Like for the longer distances, because like this says here that at the current speed it's going to take 4 hours 29 minutes and 23 seconds for me to basically crash into the center of this sun. So the next system, it's 26 light years away, and like at my current super cruise speed, it says it's going to obviously take longer than a year. I don't know if anybody has actually tried to go straight there in Elite yet. Is that actually possible? Because I know that, like, if you drop out of super cruise and are going at normal speed towards a planet, sometimes it can say that it'll take a year to get there, and I know that people have done that within a system. I just don't know whether it works kind of star to star. When did I join the internet? I was on permanently from 1996 onwards. By 2000 I actually had a really big website, or big for me, with about 40,000 people that were registered by 2001. So I had a presence on the internet kind of pretty early on.
Fuel scooping.
Back after the ad, huh? Yeah, I ran a sim racing site called Race Sim Central, or before 2001 it was actually called Legends Central, because there was a racing simulation based on the 1960s called Grand Prix Legends, and I made kind of a site based on that, and that grew pretty quickly. By 2005, it was well, it had 80,000 active members. There was more than that actually registered, but most of those accounts were kind of throwaway accounts or the odd spam account. This is interesting. Lots of smaller planets with the rings right here. Wow, lots of stars too. That's a well, it's kind of a star. It's a brown dwarf. Some with rings, some without. Then you have a couple of gas giants. I'll go scan these two that are in their mini kind of system. Yeah, there was a search engine though back then. I'm not sure of the timing, but I remember early on using, there was Alta Vista. That was a decent search engine at one point.
Fuel scoop disengaged.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't really remember ever using Yahoo. I don't know why. I didn't really try to avoid it, but I distinctly remember using Alta Vista quite a lot. And then in 2005, I was actually hired to work for one of the companies that the website had started to cover by that point. So I quit my website to avoid a conflict of interest and left it to be managed by some other people that didn't do backups. And then obviously you know what happened. What happened is that the host had a meltdown and all of the data from the website was lost. And I had not kept the backups that I had made because obviously I trusted that the site was in good hands. So, one of those things. But you know, it's still something that that irks me a little bit. A little bit. Like, it's not like I would want to have the site really up and running now, but you know, I certainly would love to have it online as kind of an archive. And if you go to archive.org, well, what the host said is that their server failed and then their backup failed. So, you know, that basically excused them. So, you know, it's just one of those things. You know, I try to let go of it. Yeah, Grand Prix was an amazing title for its time. I actually have every single one of Jeff Cramman's games, I think, or every one of his racing games anyway. I have Revs, which was his first one.
Fuel scooping.
Stunt car racer, or stunt track racer it was in the United States, and then obviously Grand Prix 1 through Grand Prix 4. And there was a 2000 add-on pack for Grand Prix 3 that I have too. And that's it, I think. Ooh, I almost didn't check the system map here. Again, I'm going to be cynical and say it's not going to be an Earth-like world because the galaxy isn't giving me Earth-like worlds right now.
Fuel scoop disengaged.
I always kind of wanted a ZX Spectrum, but I never had one. I feel that's a little tiny little kind of missing part of my history that should have been there, but unfortunately it wasn't. Revs was very simplistic, but it was obviously advanced for the time. Like he had to do a lot of the physics calculations because there wasn't enough memory in the actual computer to calculate a lot of what he was actually doing. So very, very, very smart. What he actually did is he basically displayed a lot of his calculations on the sky, and he was able to then read those calculations back in, and basically use them in his code. He basically put blue numbers on the blue sky that the player couldn't see, but obviously allowed him to use the video essentially as extra memory for the calculations that he was using in the back end, essentially with his, with his software. So just it's amazing what these guys had to do back in those days when they were struggling for memory. And when you think about what Elite Dangerous is, and what some elements of Star Citizen are going to be, with the procedural generation and stuff like that. I mean, David Braben's game from 1993 had a very large, I think it was millions of systems in the Milky Way kind of replica that he did back then. And just the incredible intelligence that those guys had to have to work around those memory issues blows my mind.
Fuel scoop disengaged.
Yeah. I feel old on a regular basis, and it sometimes is when I'm talking about computers with people. But the vast majority of the time it's when I turn on the radio in the car and listen to what they're playing. I've basically turned into the old man that hates the kids' music. Okay, well, you have to keep your wife happy. I will see you later, hopefully. And I'm going to overshoot again. Yeah, I have all of these interesting plans to annoy both my kids and other people's kids when I get older. I have a deal with my wife that by the time I get to be 65, she's going to let me pretend that I'm deaf, whether I actually am or not, so that I can shout at people and then also ignore them. Various things like that I feel like I'm going to have to do. Is that a real quote from Socrates? I think most British people would say Socrates.
Fuel scooping.
Because if that's a real quote, you could kind of replace chatter with social media or texting, and it's completely accurate. But it also applied to me when I was a kid. would much rather have spent time on my
Fuel scoop
computer than
disengaged.
go out and ride my bike. Every generation imagines itself to be more intelligent than the one that went before it, and wiser than the one that comes after it. I would totally agree with that one.
Fuel scooping.
I'm so looking forward to when they develop this a bit further so that you can land or interact with planets with atmospheres a little bit more, because it's frustrating really to be exploring knowing that someday these are going to all be landable and there's going to be things that are on them, and right now I'm just flying through the system going, nope, it's not ready yet.
Fuel scoop disengaged.
Alright, we're maybe about halfway.
Fuel scooping.
I still find it really interesting how many more people find me and watch on YouTube versus Twitch. Like first time viewers. Like on Twitch there'll be kind of one or two maximum.
Fuel scoop disengaged.
But I guess the thing that helps with YouTube is that if someone is a subscriber, they get a notification, the same as a follower would on Twitch. And on YouTube I have 2,000, whereas on Twitch I think I have 30 or 40. So I'm sure that makes a difference too.
Fuel scooping.
Oh, I guess I didn't give that enough time.
Fuel scoop disengaged.
Yeah, I built my system up this year for VR more than really anything else. But I do want a higher resolution than any of the VR headsets currently have. So what I'm hoping is that there'll be a second generation start to be announced at some point soon, and then they will say that it's going to be a little bit higher resolution, and then I'll say yes, and then I'll order one. Hopefully that's not just wishful thinking. Because that's really my only issue with VR, from what I've tried of it. And it's certainly playable at the resolution of the main contenders right now, but it's not good enough for me to yet use it as a primary display. I guess one good thing as well about
Fuel scooping.
not having my face on the stream right now, which I can do and I actually used to, is that if I do put a VR headset on, you're not going to have this kind of person wearing a mask on the screen. It'll just be the same as it is now.
Fuel scoop disengaged.
The issue with VR there, though, that I hadn't really thought about until now, is that there would be no way for me to see the chat when I'm wearing a VR headset unless I actually overlay the chat over my gameplay screen. So, when it comes time to purchase, I'm probably going to have to research that a little bit and see what streamers who use VR actually do.
Fuel scooping. Fuel scoop disengaged.
Yeah, I bought a GTX 1080, and the way that it can run 4K, I'm not really that worried about it not being able to do VR with a little bit higher resolution.
Fuel scooping.
Current monitors that I have are, I have three 1080p monitors, but I do regularly and with a lot of games run much higher resolution. For example, right now I'm running 3840 by 2160, and then I'm downscaling that, and basically that just gives me a better aliasing. I'm not sure if it looks that much better on the stream, but it certainly looks better to me than kind of the standard aliasing options. And you actually get to see kind of finer details that very, very nice. Like, I'll put my frame rate on at the bottom left, and bear in mind that this system is running 3 screens. On the right hand screen I have kind of alerts for subscribers or, you know, whatever. Left hand screen I have the chat and Google Chrome open with information on what's happening with the stream. And obviously the game is in the middle, running at 3840 by 2160.
Fuel scooping.
I think I'll get a 4K monitor at some point, and I'll try to get one with the same footprint as the one that I have, so that I can simply replace it. And then if I ever want to run a triple screen thing, then I can do that at 1080p triples. Or if I want to run a single screen 4K, then I can do that without it obviously messing up the outer screens. I don't know, I think it depends on the game. I think Elite Dangerous can easily do 4K with the 1080. Star Citizen, yeah, you're correct. I actually did try Star Citizen in 4K though, using... whoa, okay. Okay, stumbled upon a neutron star, which, if this was version 2.2, this would look spectacular. But this isn't 2.2, so it just looks like a little white dot. Yeah, I agree. I think the concept of VR, it's where it needs to be. The way it works fine. But I'm not going to buy one because I had a DK2, so I'm not going to buy one now until the resolution is good enough. That's what I'm holding out on. What was I saying? Did the neutron star distract me from saying something? I can't actually remember. Possibly I was talking about the difference in games with 4K. I mean, I can easily run Elite Dangerous at 4K using NVIDIA DSR. And basically, I mean, that is running the game at 4K when you do that, and then it actually scales it down to the monitor output. So you're actually putting a tiny little bit of extra stress on your GPU when you do that, and that's what I'm doing. And I've played Elite Dangerous at 4K,
Fuel scooping.
and it was pegged at 60 frames a second. So Elite Dangerous, I don't think I would have any issue with a single GTX 1080
Fuel scoop disengaged.
with 4K. And that's while I have 2 other 1080p screens on either side, doing various things. But yes, just to reiterate, Star Citizen, when I did actually try Star Citizen in 4K, it was interesting because it wasn't that much of a lower frame rate than I was getting at 1080p. So I don't think we're gonna actually know how much of a resource hog Star Citizen actually is until they sort out the networking issues. because whenever the frame rate has been bad, it seems to be more what's going on with the server with Star Citizen than what's going on with my PC. So, you know, I'm interested to see them sort out the network. I don't know whether they're going to improve it any for 2.6 when Star Marine comes in, or whether we're going to have to wait for 3.0.
Fuel scooping.
But yeah, I'm eager to get an actual idea of how stressed my system is going to be at 4K with Star Citizen as well.
Fuel scoop disengaged.
I think what they're doing in 2.2 with Elite Dangerous is pretty much what I'm doing with the DSR scaling. It allows you to have more detail on a lower resolution screen. Let me get a link, actually. There's a really good link on the NVIDIA website that explains DSR. And I'll paste it in the chat for you guys. Okay, if you ignore the first image, the first video, all of the images down to where they've kind of zoomed in on a piece of grass. And basically, if you look at the first image, it's 1080p, and then the last image, it's 4K DSR that's been shrunk down to 1080p. There we go. But so basically, even on a 1080p monitor, you can obviously see more detail. And I mean, I can see that visually with Elite Dangerous, totally. So, yeah, if you all might know about that, but I think that's a little bit of what they've done with 2.2 on Elite Dangerous, is basically brought more detail into a lower resolution in a similar way. And I think any of the dips that you're seeing below 60 frames a second with me running 3840 by 2160 right now is just kind of a glitch in the frame rate reader where it's changing game mode, so it's not actually the game that's running less than 60. Like when I jump into the hyperspace here, it'll probably go down to 52 or something, and I think that's because the hyperspace is a video. It's not actual kind of game engine completely. So there you go, 52. Yeah, that's exactly what it's done the last 2 times that I've jumped. So AMD have something similar too, called VSR. Okay. Does it, from what you're seeing, is it, you know, very, very similar? I put the smoothness to 0%.
Fuel scooping. Fuel scoop disengaged.
You know what I noticed, Lasse? The last time that I installed a beta, all of the settings were totally messed up as far as graphics settings. Did you check the settings and make sure they were all on max? Or ultra?
Fuel scooping. Fuel scoop disengaged. Fuel scooping.
You know, I remember the really early days of exploration with this game, and there were people doing just crazy things. Like,
Fuel scoop disengaged.
I remember watching a streamer once, actually. He was wearing like a cowboy hat, and he was in a Sidewinder, and he had literally got to kind of here somewhere on the galaxy map. And I just thought to myself, you know, that guy went all that way and probably came all the way back before planetary landings were in the game. And I just found another neutron star. I guess it's above me. Okay. It's weird. It's very rare for me to stumble upon a neutron star. See what else is in the system. Yeah, I'm getting dropped frames again. So I'm gonna go and look at this planet here and maybe restart the stream if it doesn't clear itself up by the time I get there. Let's have a look. 4,260 dropped frames. That all happened within just a few minutes. It may have fixed itself, whatever the problem was. Yeah, it seriously looks like it's stabilized. I'm not getting any more dropped frames. Yeah, that's a thing about, you know, the game, and it's like that guy with the Sidewinder that went to the far side of the galaxy. You know, he wasn't able to land on a single planet because nothing was landable back then. You know, and it just makes me think, you know, those guys that went and did stuff like that, and like me out exploring right now, there's so many planets that I can't do anything with because they haven't implemented atmospheric planets yet. See, YouTube is still telling me that things aren't good, so let's have a look here. I haven't had any drop frames for a long time, but YouTube is still saying video output low. I guess I'll keep going. I'm not getting any more dropped frames, and so yeah, I feel like I'm repeating myself, but all these neutron stars that I'm flying past, if I was literally here in a month, it would look entirely different and be a whole new gameplay experience. Okay, YouTube is now telling me that the stream is in good health.
Fuel scooping.
I guess I hadn't met their quota until now.
Fuel scoop disengaged. Fuel scooping.
Everything in this system does not have an atmosphere.
Fuel scoop disengaged. Fuel scooping.
I feel like I've entered a little bit of a darker region of space. Not seeing as many stars. Kind of when I'm jumping in. I wonder if I actually am. Not hugely. I mean, this is sort of a rift between two galactic arms, right? Like right here where it's darker. I mean, if I'm pointing that way, it might look a little bit darker. And it's also a little bit thinner. Like you can see it gets darker coming in here too. So yeah, this is almost kind of a little bridge through here. And it's darker on both sides, right where I am. So it looks like there might be less stars around here. How could you be a beta tester for RF2? Well, you could email to info@imagespaceinc.com and I'll get that email and forward it on to the guy that runs the testing team and can see what he says. Hate these stars. It can happen that they don't need another tester with a system specification like yours, or it can happen that that they don't need someone with, you know, like a lower level of experience testing. It just basically depends what they need. Like sometimes testing can basically, with a racetrack, it can consist of basically trying to crash into the wall every inch of the way around the track. And driving over all of the grass and everything like that to make sure that there's no physical holes. So, you know, it's not always something that people are actually good at, that think they will be, or actually enjoy in any way whatsoever. So I'm now kind of wondering if the reason why space looked darker is because most of these stars are dim brown dwarfs. From what I've seen with Star Citizen, don't they invite you into earlier testing if you have submitted more bugs? Okay, this is a little weird, the lighting. I think there might be a neutron star in this system too. Class Y brown dwarf. Less than 700k. And are effectively very large gas giant planets with some stellar properties. It's very... I'm getting a lot of brown dwarfs and a lot of neutron stars. Whoa, can't get too close. Okay, there's 2 stars right here. There's another star to my left and another star on the upper right. Got to watch my temperature. Seems stable. Okay. Alright, so let's scan this other star. I feel like I'm going into kind of a dangerous area. I don't know what it is, it's just... like I have a big fuel tank. I can get myself out of like most situations as far as getting into an area that's full of non-scoopable stars. But yeah, this is a little bit weird now. Okay. Alright, that was the last one on this bit of this journey. Okay. Okay, let's have a quick look here. Star class. So look at that. Look how many of those Y-type stars are around me here. That's insane. Oh, wow. Okay. Yikes. I think... gotta be careful here. Let's try and get to the middle between the two with this next series. Go for the big yellow one. Alright. Yeah, I think that does explain why it felt dark. It's so weird to think that I could kind of feel it. Because of the way that the darkness had kind of crept in. Yeah, I'm not going to bother scanning that. Whatever, I missed a star.
Fuel scooping.
This seems like a big star. An F white star. So, where is its orbit line? There, okay.
Warning, temperature critical.
Okay, time to run away.
Fuel scoop disengaged.
That star seemed a little bit bigger and hotter than than one that I would want to sit in front of and fill up. I've actually finished my glass of water now too, so I think the next kind of normal star that I come across that I can fill up from.
Fuel scooping.
This is another one of those, isn't it? The white, F white. To get any speed from my fuel filling, I have to get really close. Yes, it's an F white. I think that isn't an Earth-like, but I'll go and check it out. Yeah, I want to, if I'm going to sit beside a star and leave the room to go get a glass of water, I think it's going to have to be, what are they called? K, Class K and Class M or
Fuel
something, I think
scoop
they are.
disengaged.
Earth-like Class A is like Earth. Basically it means that it's a planet that if any of the powers in the game wanted to, when I go back and sell my data on the Earth-like planet that I scan, they would literally be able to just come out and colonize that planet without having to do anything to it. Whereas if it is an ammonia world or some other terraformable world, then you know, you basically get paid less for that because they would have to do terraforming work. It's oh yeah, sorry. It's possible that I just found one, but I'm doubtful because I feel like I've seen so many that look like Earth-like worlds in the system map on this journey, and they just have not been what I thought they were. Just going to wait for this one to be scanned. Okay, so that's carbon dioxide, sulfur dioxide. That sulfur dioxide planet sounds pleasant. I think that is on your end currently if you're having issues watching, because I'm still on dropped frames 4260, which is what I was on the last time I had issues. What's even more annoying is if the Earth is at the secondary star that's like 200,000 light seconds away. You know, because if I could see on the system map that it looked very much like an Earth-like world, then I would consider going for that. You know, and it's not for the credits, it's just to actually scan it and get my name on it and stuff. Fingers crossed. Nope, water world. So I'll do a little flyby here. Yeah, water worlds are okay. It's not too bad. Not really what I am here for, though. It is an okay movie, that's right.
Fuel scooping.
So this is a normal star. This is one that I would be quite happy to sit in front of a little bit closer. Okay. Alright, so I'm going to put my headset down, go fill up my glass of water, and when I come back I'll probably move in a little bit closer to scoop fuel a bit faster. So I will be right back. So you guys can see that my joystick does not settle into a center position. The yaw still needs slightly more dead zone. Really looking forward actually to getting like if you look how much dead zone I actually have, I already have, let's see, if that's 50% and then if that's 25%, I mean I probably have about a 10% dead zone on my yaw axis. So I mean I'm really looking forward to getting my new joystick this week. Maybe that's enough. I'll just waggle the joystick a little bit and see if it keeps moving. So is it me, or is it now pitching? Now the pitch axis is the problem. Okay, so I will increase the dead zone ever so slightly on the pitch too. Yeah, like I'm really happy with the T16000M, and I mean, it's only started doing this just recently, and I've had this since I think 2014, and I paid $50 for it. So I consider that value for money, really, considering how much I've used it. So let's... Okay, so we'll see if it moves now. No, I actually fitted a fairly low fuel scoop, but I have big fuel tanks. I'm not actually sure what I did. My fuel scoop is a 5D, and is there anywhere for me to actually see my fuel tanks? Let's see. Well, what I can do is, when I am full, I will show you how far I can actually go without refueling. It's pretty far. I can jump about 700 light years without any scooping whatsoever. Hi Walding, how are you? I'm good. Just trying to get to my next exploration waypoint. It's really funny how the viewership count goes up whenever I'm just sat in front of a star doing nothing. Honestly, I think whenever the channel or the live stream thumbnail somewhere is a star, people come flocking in. It's really funny. I do have a few people visiting my website actually, and when I am live streaming, I show it over on the right hand side, whatever so I wonder if that's what's happening. Possibly not though. You have me scheduled? Like you planned to watch? That's nice of you. thanks. That's a very kind comment. Between you saying stuff like that and Lasse saying that I have titles like a pro, not sure
Fuel scooping
what
for
to say
fuel.
except thank you. Okay. So, Dimitri, you were wondering about my fuel cell size. Let's see. So this is 692 light
Fuel
years
scoop disengaged.
away. And let's see. So I can get all the way to here, which is, so I can get 550 light years without any refueling at all. So if I shut off my fuel scoop, I could get that far with the size of my fuel tanks. And that's why I carry them, is because it's very rare for me to actually need to sit in front of a star like that. That's very kind of you guys to say. Thank you.
Fuel scooping.
We have a couple of stars fairly close here, I think. Yeah, there's one within 5,000 light years. Over here. Or 5,000 light seconds, I should say. Still too far to bother scanning, though.
Fuel scoop disengaged.
Another brown dwarf. And that's all that's in this system. I wonder how long this field of brown dwarfs is going to carry on for. Oh, cool. Okay. Yeah, I actually know him from other things, really. Edmund, which is his name, he is a video editor, and the software developer that I work for just actually commissioned him to make a documentary that features our software, and that's what he's doing. And I've actually known him for a long time. He actually uses our software and races with it, and so yeah, should be interesting when it's done. To be honest, I mean, it's been surprising because there's a lot of crossover into different communities from space sims. A lot of people that seem to like racing sims like space sims. My day job is working for a space sim or a racing sim developer, and a lot of people that like our product like Elite Dangerous and Star Citizen. It's very surprising, really. Like, I think what it is, it's not so much the genre. I think it's the challenge, you know, like, there's not a lot of ways that space simulations really hold your hand. And, you know, it's the same with a racing sim, you know, like if you're just not good at a racing sim, then you're just not good. Nobody's going to allow you to win for no reason. If you don't win, you don't win. And it's the same with a space game, you know. If you sit in a location where enemy ships are attacking you, and you're just not good at either running away or fighting back or whatever, then you're going to get killed. Nobody's going to hold your hand and take you through that. Space Sims adult games. I think, you know, there are a lot of games that do hold your hand, but what I've noticed though is that even within a small community, like if you take the Elite Dangerous community, you have a group of people that want a really hardcore experience out of this one game. And then you have a group of people that will argue with them on the Elite Dangerous forums for options that make things easier. So I mean, you don't have an actual Elite Dangerous type of player, because the spectrum just within Elite Dangerous is very, very, very wide. What is interesting to me though is the overlap, where you'll have the guys that want maybe Elite Dangerous to be super hardcore might overlap with those that want Star Citizen to be super hardcore, and then, you know, within that amount of overlap you then might have people that play racing sims that obviously are into those being super hardcore. And you know, in some cases that will be about the challenge, but also it's, I mean, it just might be what they find fun. There's a lot of people that play the simulation that the company I work for has put out, which is a space one called Rogue System, and I mean, the enjoyment that people get out of that's actually, as much as I like hardcore racing sims, like, that's on the extreme edge of what I like. You know, I want a little bit of a more simplistic element to that. And you know, one of the things that I'm actually looking forward to with his thing is when some of the startup functions are automated. And then there'll be other people that will just be screaming, no! You know, if he actually does that. It's kind of interesting.
scooping.
It's one of the great things about space sims, really, is that you can pretty much do whatever you want to do. I'm doing exploration right now because I needed to chill.
Fuel scooping.
I'm getting there. Battle test, no, I have not.
Fuel scoop disengaged.
Battle test. Welcome to the battle test. Gamer psychology. Which would you enjoy more? Running your own tavern? Making your own maps of the world, then selling them? I think making my own maps.
Fuel scooping.
Okay, which would you rather do? Solve a riddle no one else has gotten? Getting to a certain experience level faster than anyone else? Solving a riddle no one has gotten. What's worse, to be without power, to be without friends? I'm going to answer to be without power.
Fuel scoop disengaged.
Would you rather receive as a quest reward experience points, or a wand with 3 charges of a spell that lets you control other players against their will? I mean, it seems odd, but my mind is drawn to experience points, even though I have no idea what they would be spent for. In the game world, a new area opens up. Which do you look forward to more? Exploring the new area and finding out its history? Being the first to get the new equipment from the area?
Fuel scooping.
Well, the rate at which I shot out to Voyager 2 on Elite Dangerous would be exploring the new area and finding out its history. I actually think that's more applicable to me. Which do you enjoy more, getting the latest gossip or getting a new item? Getting a new item. Did I check the system map in this one? Okay. In a multiplayer game, would you rather join a group of explorers or warriors? Well, I am in a group of explorers now, and that's to take a break from being a warrior.
Fuel scoop disengaged.
I think I would rather be a warrior in most circumstances. Which do you enjoy more in quests? Getting involved in the storyline, getting the rewards at the end? Getting involved in the storyline. Which is more enjoyable to you? Defeating a villain, boasting about it to your friends, defeating a villain. When playing a video game, is it more fun to have the highest score on the list, beat your best friend one-on-one. Beating your best friend one-on-one.
Fuel scooping.
Okay. Do you tend to know things no one else does? Have items no one else does? Probably have. That was an odd one to answer, really. Okay, just stars. Okay. In a multiplayer game, are you more prone to brag about your equipment? How many other players you've defeated in challenges? None of those is really appealing.
Fuel scoop disengaged.
But the one that comes out on top would probably be how many players. Would you rather know where to find things, know how to get things? I think know how to get things. Would you rather defeat an enemy or explore a new area? See, it's like they're trying to derail my previous answers. I think I'm a very mixed individual, aren't I? I think on top of those two, it has to be defeat an enemy.
Fuel scooping.
The star is very white. What kind of star is that? Class A, okay. 10,000K. And what is this? Don't know what that is. What is this? Okay, I don't think either of those are Earth-likes. Right. Okay. So in a multiplayer world, you find yourself alone in an area.
Fuel scoop disengaged.
Do you think this means it's safe to explore? You'll have to look somewhere else for a player to challenge. That means it's safe to explore. What's more important to you, the number of people, the number of areas to explore? I think the number of areas. Would you rather have 2 levels of experience, an amulet that increases the damage you do against other players by 10%? Two levels of experience?
Fuel scooping.
Which is more exciting, a good story or a good battle? Well, a good battle is the story, isn't it? So, a good battle. Which would you enjoy more? Winning a duel with another player, getting accepted by a clan or guild? Winning a duel with another player. In the game world, would you rather have a sword twice as powerful as any other in the game? Be the most feared person in the game? Well, being the most feared person isn't a goal, but out of those two, that's preferable. Okay, did I check this system or not? No, but nothing that I want there. You learn that another player is planning your demise. Do you go to an area your opponent is unfamiliar with and prepare there? Attack him before he attacks you.
Fuel scoop disengaged.
I think I would go to the area that they're unfamiliar with. I always... Well, I don't know if I always do, but I try to think that I attack when I've been attacked. Is it better to be feared or loved? Feared. In a multiplayer world, you are being chased by a monster. Do you hide somewhere you know the monster can't follow you? Ask a friend for help in defeating the monster. See, this is probably my first team-based answer. But I would ask for help. You want to fight a really tough dragon. How would you approach this problem? Get a big group of players to help you defeat it. Try a variety of weapons and magic against it to find its weakness. So contrary to my previous answer, it would be the second one.
Fuel scooping.
In a multiplayer world, which would you rather have? A private channel over which you and your friends can communicate. Your own house worth millions of gold coins. It would be a private channel. That was kind of an odd question. There are two very different answers. You're about to go into an unknown dungeon. You have your choice of one more person for your party. Do you bring a bard who's a good friend of yours and who's great for entertaining you and your friends? A wizard to identify the items that you find there? What a strange question. I'm confused by both of those answers. I will go with the entertainer. In the game world, would you rather be known for knowledge or power? Power. In a multiplayer game, are you more comfortable out-hunting monsters by yourself for experience points, talking with friends in a meeting place, out-hunting monsters?
Fuel scooping.
Would you rather hear what someone has to say, show them the sharp blade of your axe? I would hear what someone has to say. Nothing there. Okay. Would you rather become a hero faster than your friends? No more secrets than your friends? No more secrets. Okay, so I think I have my results here. Okay. I'm very balanced. I'm 60% on both Explorer and Griefer, 47% on Achiever, and 33% on Socializer. Interesting. So, I guess you put this down as the first letters, right? So, I guess you could say E, G, A, S would be the order, or you could put G, E, A, S. But there you go, there is my Bartle test. I felt like, you know, a lot of the questions,
Fuel scooping.
it's like they're gameplay specific. So I felt like I was contradicting myself in a number of the answers, but I didn't feel like I could give a different answer.
Fuel scoop disengaged.
Are there any more updated versions of those tests around? I just went to the first link that looked like it was a legitimate answer for Bartle test. starting to get some really different looking stars. Can probably scan this gas giant without moving very much.
Fuel scooping. Fuel scoop disengaged.
See, the thing with Elite Dangerous, right, is that when I backed it, one of the things that was promised was an offline mode. And then one of the other things that was discussed that I think was promised was multiple commanders, like kind of basically multiple saves, so that basically my first commander could be my good guy, and then I could have a second account when I felt like it, where I could go out and be less nice. You know, there's a definite side to me that, you know, I could play the pirate, but I think I would always get more enjoyment out of hunting the pirate. So, yeah. So yeah, basically I can sum down the battle test to exactly that, really, where I have it within my psychology in gaming that I could be a pirate, but I think it's more fun to hunt them. So yeah. The kid is good. For some reason threw up and then didn't throw up all day today. So I don't know what it was that they ate or touched or scratched or whatever, but yeah, you know, well, you might know how kids are, but they are essentially walking germ factories. And
Fuel scooping.
I suspect that she probably touched something, or
Fuel scoop
touched something
disengaged.
and then put her hand in her mouth, and that's that. It's really weird actually how kids are with that stuff, because I have a 2-year-old that I now trust to pretty much not put small things in her mouth, so I'm not worried about her kind of choking anymore or anything like that. But now my 5-year-old is always putting things in her mouth again now, and like just totally weird
Fuel
things.
scooping.
She was out with my wife once last year, and my wife caught her licking the wall, and honestly, I'm speechless, you know, when it comes to that, and I cannot explain for a moment why a child that, like, she knows about germs, we've explained it, but kids, you know, that's pretty much all you can say is kids.
Fuel scoop disengaged.
And like she actually got sick that night when she'd licked the wall, and you know, so she knows about germs. She, like, when she's had sort of any sickness issues or anything like that, we've explained to her. Yeah, so it is. We've explained to her, you know, where germs come from, that she's put those germs in her body through her mouth and stuff like that. Yeah, I'm dropping frames, so I'm gonna see what happens, and then I'll restart this stream if I
Fuel
have to.
scooping.
Yeah, it's still happening. Let's see, how many have we got on Twitch versus YouTube? Okay, if you're watching on Twitch, you may have to reload the page in a moment. YouTube, it should just come back by itself, and then you might need to click live again to kind of catch up. I'm probably going to try switching servers that I'm going through again, so it'll be maybe 10 to 20 seconds, and then it'll be right back for you. And I don't think I actually said hi to Merdin in the chat. So hi to you. Hopefully you can actually hear that, because yeah, there we go. It looks like I've stopped dropping frames now, so I think... I don't know what it is, like it seems to work fine once I switch servers, so I don't know whether that's necessarily anything on my end that I can do anything about.
Fuel scooping.
So according to YouTube, I've been streaming for 2 hours 24 minutes. You guys make it go really quick. Very, very fast.
Fuel scoop disengaged.
Aha. So Mer switched to Twitch. You guys ever kind of like sleep on your ear funny? And your actual ear hurts? My headphones are doing that to my ear right now. You've probably had it more if you wear glasses, because I wear glasses. And I think what's happening is my ear is being kind of crushed into the side of my head.
Fuel scooping.
That is an interesting looking colour combination. It's definitely not... Oh, what is that? That's such a long way away though. Ah! Like, I'm like 70 to 80% certain that that's not an Earth-like world. But it's really annoying anyway. And this one, the colour combination looks really interesting. And I know it's not an Earth-like world, but I am tempted, but I'm not going to go and see it.
Fuel scoop disengaged.
%3 killer on the battle test? Yeah, you keep asking about Mass Effect. I actually have it on Steam, but it's one of those games I've never played. My brother played it, and I watched him play it a little bit. One game that I do want to play that I bought and was really excited about, and then didn't play is Alien Isolation.
Fuel scoop disengaged.
Big fan of the early Alien movies. Not so much the latter ones. And when I say latter, I basically am talking about the fourth one and all of the Alien versus Predator movies, which, you know, I think the story of Predator is really cool. I like the fact that, you know, it's an alien being that comes down to Earth basically to hunt for sport, kind of. But yeah, it's just not that good of a movie. It's more kind of action than tension, I guess. The thing I like about the early Alien movies is they're very tense and suspenseful. Whereas the newer ones, it's just action. You know, you may as well be watching an action movie, you know.
Fuel scooping.
People do say it's a scary game, yes. They do. And what's funny is that, I mean, I felt like a little bit of tense nervousness when I went around the abandoned station, trying to prove Darnell innocent in Star Citizen. Like I thought that empty location was really, you know, it was really kind of spooky, and you didn't know if either... Oh, what am I doing? You didn't know if either a player or something else was going to jump out at you, you know, the first time you did it. So, really quite enjoyed that. Yes, as Murdin says on Twitch, yeah, the older movies that show what they thought technology would be like in the modern age, yeah, it's really interesting to see some of that stuff. The huge like TV monitors that are in a lot of old sci-fi movies. Brazil with, you know, from Terry Gilliam and stuff like that. Their technology is really cool. And obviously Alien with the big round kind of domed front screens on a lot of the older computers in that. I mean, really, if you think about it, it's only really Star Trek that has got a lot of the technical innovations correct.
Fuel scoop disengaged.
So apparently Murdin has been convinced to come back and watch on YouTube. So there is a new Mass Effect that's been announced, right? I actually remember asking that on a previous stream, and I don't remember whether anybody answered. But I thought I saw a new one being announced. Was it a game that was Was it PS4 only though, the new Mass Effect? Because I think it was announced at PlayStation's conference.
Fuel scoop disengaged. Fuel scooping.
Okay, so the new Mass Effect is going to be on all platforms. That's good. Oh, I think I've reached the end of my current navigation. Alright, so how far away are we? Yay. So I can get all the way to the waypoint now. Just gonna open the Galactic Nebula Expedition thread in the Frontier Forum so that I can see exactly where I'm supposed to go. Oh, I'm probably supposed to wait until... because I can't open the system map, can I? No, I cannot. Alright then.
Fuel scoop disengaged. Fuel scooping.
Gonna have to be careful taking my mouse pointer off the screen. I keep doing it to kind of do other things while I'm jumping. And one of these times I'm gonna screw it up.
Fuel scooping.
A most platform game.
Fuel scoop disengaged.
Yeah, that's what I would think when I read all platforms. I would think consoles and PC. I wouldn't even put the Mac OS in with all platforms. But it's all lies.
Fuel scooping.
I think I'm definitely kind of off the beaten track with my route here, because I can't... Like, the last time that I had anything that was actually scanned by another player before me was when I was going through that field of brown dwarfs.
Fuel scoop disengaged.
There was a lot of neutron stars and brown dwarfs that I was encountering probably an hour or so ago. Hello, Bravo Chimp, how are you? Liv Tyler has actually been in another movie. I think the only movies that I've seen her in are the Lord of the Rings movies.
Fuel scooping.
You know, when I compare kind of YouTube and Twitch for streaming, I mean, one of the things that Twitch does that is both good and bad is that it you can instantly watch the archive. So basically, when I stop streaming, you're going to be able to see the whole archive of everything that I've streamed, and you'll be able to play it back instantly. You can even play it back while I'm watching. And with
Fuel
YouTube,
scooping.
it archives it, and you basically the video is actually it has to be processed by YouTube before it's actually available to be viewed. But when you're actually viewing it live, you can go back 2 hours. So it's a little bit less user-friendly. But the thing with Twitch as well is that each time that I've had to switch servers tonight, because I've had to do it like 3 times, Twitch has created a new video, whereas YouTube has just resumed. So I actually have a clock at the top of the YouTube stream that says I've been streaming for 2 hours and 41 minutes. Whereas Twitch is on its 4th or 5th video tonight, and it says I'm 19 minutes in. So yeah.
Fuel scooping.
Star Citizen is going to be on other platforms than Windows?
Fuel scoop disengaged.
Huh, that's interesting. I mean, I guess they could always go back on that and just say, sorry, you know, Windows only. But that's interesting that they even said that. Right. Do you think it would be an AMD only support if they did it? Yeah, with Vulkan.
Fuel scooping. Fuel scoop disengaged.
Yeah, I can understand you wanting a refund if they change their mind and say Windows only. But then also, you know, I backed Elite because I wanted an offline game, didn't want an online game. And that didn't end up being correct. And then also the various other things changed too from the game that I intended to purchase. But I'm still here.
Fuel scooping. Fuel scoop disengaged.
Yeah, when I saw that, there was a video a little while ago, I feel like it was maybe a month ago, that RSI released that showed a damaged, I think it was a damaged Starfarer, I think. You could quite easily set like a horror experience
Fuel scooping.
in that map. But then, you know, you could also set a horror type experience like Alien Isolation in is it the Kovalex station? I think that's the name of it. In Star Citizen as well. It certainly freaked me out the first time I went around there. I was thinking at all times that I was going to be attacked by another player.
Fuel scoop disengaged.
Actually, now that I've been playing the game and I've walked around a Starfarer, I really need to watch that video of the damage again. to kind of really appreciate it, because when I watched it, I hadn't really walked around in a Starfarer, so I mean, I was very, very impressed by some of the effects and everything, but I didn't know kind of the map that I was looking at and what had actually been damaged.
Fuel scoop disengaged.
I mean, as far as refunds go, I mean, I know that Frontier did give refunds for people that specified that the loss of the offline mode for Elite Dangerous was enough for them to want a refund. So yeah, if the loss of an operating system that you actually use is enough for you to ask for a refund, then I think you should be given one. Doesn't mean that you will be, but I think so.
Fuel scooping. Fuel scoop disengaged.
Yes, Merdin, that's issues with AMD with something that they really could have avoided is the reason why I've used NVIDIA cards since I think since I bought a GTX 570. When the GTX 570s were brand new, that's when I last switched manufacturers. I think there was 2 stars when I came in here. Okay, there's actually 4, but I think I'm pretty close to 2 of them. Yeah, there's another one.
Fuel scooping.
Good night, Walding. Or good day, or Night, guys. Okay, so you are saying night. Okay. Good night. Hello to Barkfield's Good Man on Twitch, who probably thinks I'm insane and that I'm talking to
Fuel
myself.
scooping.
I should explain to you, Barkfield's Good Man, that I do stream on YouTube at the same time, and I can see both chats. What's better, the Viper MK4 or the Cobra MK3? The Viper's more maneuverable, depending on what you want to do. I think if you want combat, the Viper. If you want an all-round ship that can include trading, then it would be the Cobra.
Fuel scooping.
Yes, you can explore with the Cobra. I went to Sagittarius A with a Cobra. It did take a little bit of time.
Fuel scoop.
I think it took me
disengaged.
22 hours of gameplay to get back from Sagittarius A. So if you went straight there and back in a straight line from Sol and you didn't scan every item, in fact, for at least a third of the journey, I was basically not scanning anything. I was just going as quickly as I could. Then you're talking about at least a 44-hour journey if you take a Cobra. And that's if you fit it for maximum jump range. I didn't take weapons. I don't think I took shields. But the thing is that the Viper would be worse. So, as far as between the Viper and the Cobra for exploration, then I still would take the Cobra. It's a better all-round ship, I think.
Fuel scooping. Fuel scoop disengaged. scooping.
Yeah, I mean, a Cobra is definitely a step up. I'm just answering someone on Twitch right now. But it's really difficult to say at that amount. You are at a point where it's really difficult to know what the best way to go is. It really depends. Like, what is it that you actually want to do? Is there any specific gameplay type that you want to be more focused on? Because actually, you know, if exploring is your thing, then you should probably be going towards an asp, and maybe stay in the Viper that you have until you are able to afford an asp.
Fuel scoop disengaged.
Frey Robert on YouTube, you can suggest it every time. That doesn't mean I'm going to say yes. Feel free. I have a 5-year-old daughter who got her stubbornness from me. So my wife laughs at us both being stubborn with each other until I win, because I always have to win. Yeah, I'm stubborn enough to ignore every single request that you make for me to play Mass Effect. Challenge accepted. Yep, that's right. But in all seriousness, I would have no problem playing it. It is just really a question of timing and all that usual fun stuff. That's a nitrogen atmosphere. So, like, how is that not an Earth-like world exactly? 78% nitrogen, 21% oxygen. How is that not an Earth-like world? Surface temp 235K. Okay then. Whatever, David Braben. Yeah, the gravity was, I think it was 0.8 G or something like that, so it was a little bit smaller than Earth, but still. It could have, you know, they could have given me a bone and let me scan at least one Earth-like world during during a, what is it now, a 3-hour stream. This is getting pathetic. Yeah, I think the temperature was the factor, really.
Fuel scoop disengaged.
have 18 jumps to go to get to the waypoint. I think that one was 300 and... Did it say 320 something, I think?
Fuel scooping.
So, I mean, if that's the average temperature, it's warm. Oh, 235 it said? I thought it was 300 and something.
Disengaged.
235, okay. Let's have a look. So, minus 38, okay. Minus 38 Celsius, that is.
Fuel scooping.
But I'm curious as to why it wasn't a an ice planet then. You know, maybe it will be. You know, at some point in the future, I guess if you have a water world that's cold, it'll be an ice world. And maybe at some point the game will support showing it that way.
Fuel scoop disengaged.
In the same way that neutron stars are going to show completely differently in 2.2 as to how they do in the version of the game I'm playing right now. We've just got to wait for Frontier to develop in that area, I guess. Jumps to go.
Fuel scooping.
Yeah, I mean, any planet that has a higher or low average temperature.
Fuel scoop disengaged.
I mean, you could have areas that are warmer and cooler. I think if you think of the cold side of Venus and things like that, I think isn't that really different, one side versus the other?
Fuel scooping.
That could be an Earth-like as well. Or it could just be toying with me again. Am I thinking of Mercury? What planet am I thinking of in the Sol system?
Fuel scoop disengaged. disengaged.
There's a planet that... I thought it... like it's not tidally locked, but it's very close to it, where the side that's facing the sun is facing the sun most of the time. I'm sure I read about... I can't remember which planet I'm actually talking about, but I think it was facing the sun most of the time. That side was impossible to live on. The side that's facing away from the sun was impossible to live on. But if you lived on the edges of the sunlight, then that would be a survivable temperature. I remember reading that somewhere. High metal content world. So yes, it was toying with me again. No, the moon is tidally locked to us, but the dark, what we call the dark side of the moon, does get light. Obviously, when the sun is on the opposite side to us of the moon, that's when the dark side of the moon gets light. There's a planet that I read about that was kind of tidally locked to the sun, but
Fuel scooping.
I don't know. Hell, it could have even been a an Elite Dangerous forum post for all I can remember.
Fuel scoop disengaged.
I wonder which one it was. Like they say something similar with Mars. They say that at the just below the north and south poles there should be liquid water because it would be the right temperature there. Whereas at the poles it's probably going to be frozen, and at the equator it might be too warm. I think I read that too. But again, I could be completely incorrect and be thinking of, I don't know, a movie. And it's 3:18 AM, so anything I say right now cannot be taken down in evidence. Bark Feels Good Man on Twitch asking, what do you think of the Diamondback Explorer? Useful as an explorer. Don't have any experience with it myself, but I'm currently on an expedition with 300 pilots, and there are actually a lot of Diamondback Explorers coming with us. So obviously it's very, very capable of exploring, and that's about all I know of it.
Fuel scooping.
I had already kind of progressed past that ship's kind of level by the time it was added to the game, and I've never had a need to go back and try it.
Fuel scoop disengaged.
Okay, so I can get one jump from the waypoint with the fuel I have, so shouldn't need to stop as long as I fuel a couple of times on these last few jumps.
Fuel scooping.
So that's very close. 6 light seconds. Yeah, if you were to live on Mercury, it would be a good idea to move around a little bit. Try to get out of that
Fuel
sun.
scooping.
Alright. So we have a couple of planets here that I want to check out. And then I may drive, or may fly, sorry, to check that one out as well. It depends really, because these two don't really look that promising. Dimitri, you're still here.
Fuel scoop disengaged. One of the moons of Uranus, I think it's a 44-year day-night cycle. I actually visited it in the game. And it's a very, very cool kind of ice world with big kind of canyons of ice that you can fly through, and on the areas where the sun actually starts to touch, there's like kind of ice jets and things, and in the kind of canyons of ice, it's all kind of misty in there. That was a really cool moon to visit. It's actually called Ariel. So, like the name of the Disney princess Ariel. Can you tell I have daughters? Okay, I really want to go and do that, but I also need to get to bed at some point, and I also need to get to this waypoint.
Fuel scooping.
Good night, Merdin. Thanks for stopping by. Do you hear my voice then when you play at 1.25 speed?
Fuel scoop disengaged.
Do you hear me speaking? Do I sound like a chipmunk? What were they called? Simon, Alvin, and Theodore.
Fuel scooping.
7 jumps to go. And actually in 3 minutes there actually is a meetup, so I could actually make the Australian and Asian time zone meeting at this waypoint. And I nearly just cooked myself.
Fuel scooping. Fuel scoop disengaged.
So we're going to speed run this last little bit. Try to get there as close to 3:30 AM as I can. Hi there, Jerome. I don't think I even said hi to you tonight.
Fuel scooping.
Yeah, you could communicate with other people if you wanted to. You can do text chat with them or voice chat. That hasn't happened at any of the previous waypoints with me anyway. But I know a lot of people actually are traveling in groups, so they probably would wonder who the hell I am anyway. don't think there was anything in this system anyway. No. Uh-oh, getting dropped frames again. So I'm probably going to have to switch servers again.
Fuel scooping. Fuel scoop disengaged.
Yeah, I'm dropping frames like crazy. Okay, so if you're on Twitch, you're going to need to reload the page in probably about 30 seconds time. The stream should be back by then. YouTube should start playing again by itself, and I'm restarting now. Or no, I'm not, because I pressed the...
Fuel scoop disengaged.
Okay, so you guys on YouTube are back, and hopefully Twitch figures out restarting.
Fuel scooping. Fuel scoop disengaged.
2 jumps left, and I'm 3 minutes late. I think considering how far away I was at the beginning of this stream, I don't think I've done too badly.
Fuel scooping. Fuel scoop disengaged.
Okay, so this is the system, I think.
Fuel scooping.
So I'm just going to stop here. And while I select the right planet, or moon, it is this one, so it's a long way away. Okay. So I think I'm definitely not going to actually get there very quickly.
Fuel scoop disengaged.
Okay. Let's head on over there. And this is waypoint 4 of the Galactic Nebula expedition that I am on. And the estimated time of arrival, kind of in the center of the screen, you can see it currently says 2 hours, but as I speed up that will obviously go down. So everybody, this is Elite Dangerous, where you get to travel across star systems at and they think impossible speed, because going faster than the speed of light is apparently impossible, but you can do it in Elite Dangerous because it's a game. And the distance between the two stars in this system actually isn't that big, but it still takes a long time to travel across it at this impossible speed in Elite Dangerous. So what this effectively does is gives you an idea of how big space is. Right? Good. Yes, various things like shortcuts and wormholes and stuff like that are the only ways that are thought to be possible, but then that isn't considered to be traveling faster than light, because then you've still moved slower than light, just a shorter distance. But it seems kind of pedantic to point that out. I don't know what the lore is really with the FTL travel in this game. I just think it's something that they made a design choice. Well, okay, we're going to have star systems that are to scale. How fast do we let people go? This fast? Okay, good. I think that's pretty much how the discussion went. And the idea of being able to go this fast, it's a replacement for, in Elite 2 and 3, you could accelerate time. So the amount of time for the player that it took to get from one place to another is roughly the same time that it takes now with this faster engine, or faster method of travel. So basically that's where it came from. Once they said there's no offline mode, then they basically needed to figure out a way for players to be able to move faster and still be visible to each other without accelerating the time and having one player playing at 5 times normal speed versus a player that's playing at normal speed. And that's it. Well, in Elite 2, which was my perfect game of all time, really, it was interesting because you had more realistic physics really than Elite 4, which is this one has, and what would happen is that you would often get your engines up to speed, then you would shut your engines off, because obviously there's no need to use fuel while you're traveling along in space, because you've already reached the speed you need to go. Then you don't need to do it. There's no resistance, so nothing's slowing you down. So basically you would be going along like this, and then if you forgot to turn your engine back on and thrust to slow down at the right point, you went shooting straight past your target or crashed into the planet that you were trying to get to, and then basically you ended up being like a really long way in the opposite direction past where you wanted to be. And that was always fun in Elite 2 when that happened. No, I haven't seen the wormhole video. Would you mind sending me the link to that via email? You did mention it before, but I don't think you sent a link. So I'm about 15 minutes late for the time that everybody else was going to be here from Asia and Australia time zones. Hopefully someone is still here. Just, you know, at least seeing one other ship at every waypoint would be fantastic. Okay. So I have coordinates on the moon that I need to be heading to. Okay. So minus 47, minus 21 is the coordinates. And there's like an S-shaped canyon. Oh my god, there's a lot of S-shaped canyons on this moon. Alright, so I can't really see very well currently.
Orbital flight engaged.
So what do we got? Currently we are plus 29 and plus 58. So that bottom number, if I can get that bottom number to minus 21. Ah, we have a contact. There is another player behind me on the scanner that you should be able to see. And I've just gone straight past where I was supposed to be going to. Okay, so let's get the first number right then. Okay, minus 32. Okay, so minus 47. That is the right number, but obviously I need to stop that going down. Come on. Turn, turn, turn. Okay, there we go. Alrighty. hate flying in darkness like this. I have a message. I have a wing invite and a friend invite. Not right now. Okay. So I'm going down again. I need to go back up. Back up, back up, back up, back up. Okay. So I think alright, no, that's actually not it. Damn, I thought that was it. Okay, I'm doing no good with these coordinates here. What the hell am I doing? I'm going down on one of them that I should be going up on. It is way too late for me to be doing this, and my brain is not working. Where'd that guy go? So he's on the other side. You know what? Let's take a look at that. Yeah, he's actually landing on that other planet, I think. Doing a terrible job of finding my waypoint. So that's got it going down. I don't understand how these waypoints actually work. They always seem to... Okay. So I guess I'm just going to fly around the planet until I loop around back to 0. Why am I going down though? That's at 24, 23, 22. It was going up. And I didn't adjust that course. Oh, this is annoying. Yeah, the hollow square was another player. So that's going to take me all the way around the planet again. Screw this. I don't think you can, like, dial it in now. I think you can look at it, but I don't think you can actually do that. Like, yeah, there's nothing on there. So, I mean, I have screenshots of what the location I'm supposed to be going to looks like. And, I mean, what can I really do except try to see if I can see it? Because I'm having enormous problems figuring out where the hell I'm supposed to fly to make those numbers go up or down. Like I was flying a direction that they were going up, and all of a sudden they started going down, and I didn't feel like I had changed course. Okay. There are a lot of canyons right here. Okay. Alright, let's try this. Like, the difficulty I have is that I don't know which way up is up or down, you know? So it feels incredibly annoying. Okay, that's him again.
Orbital flight engaged.
Okay, so where am I at? I'm at -11. So I'm going the wrong way on one and the right way on the other. So I'll try turning. And they're both still going down, even though I've turned 90 degrees. No, now one's going up, so I'm going the wrong way. So -47, -21 is what I need. Okay, I mean, as far as I can tell, I'm heading in the right direction right now. And that guy is hanging around behind me.
Okay, so I'm about to hit minus 21. So do I see anything that actually matches that location? You know, I think I might be heading in exactly the right direction right now. So minus 47, minus 21. Gosh, that was annoying. I'm not sure if that was 4 AM brain fade or, you know, just messing up, really. Huh, my computer seems to have... Oh, there we go. Okay, it's just the screen turning off. On my streaming PC, that is. I don't see any other pilots. So 4712 is what I'm looking for. Oh, did I just see something? No? Okay. Whatever. So 4712 is right there. And 2165 is what I'm looking for. Wrong way. Overshot. The white stuff on the ground is ice. When I get down there, you'll be able to see it's actually shiny. Okay.
Landing gear deployed.
Hooray. Okay, so you can actually see that it's ice from just from the textures and things. So yeah, this is an icy body. And here I am at the waypoint. So unfortunately I was a little bit late. I'm actually 35 minutes late. And there was the one guy in orbit, which I've now accepted his friend request. So now I should actually be able to see show friend markers. Okay. Unless he just went offline, which he could have done. Yeah, he's probably offline now. So basically now I have like these blue tags. Whenever he goes somewhere and is online at the same time as me, I'll be able to see where he is. So that's pretty cool. So yeah, we're at the waypoint. This is basically where I wanted to end the stream. So quite happy to be here. But yeah, you can see how annoying that actually was for me to land. I'm quite tired, but I'm not going to blame it on that. I think it probably is me just not knowing which way to land and which way makes the numbers go up or down, or which part of the planet was actually the top and which was the bottom. So not knowing which way to turn to actually change anything. But anyway, that was really good. I'm very thankful for everybody who's been helpful getting me through this 4-hour stream in chat. Usual guys who are all very helpful. I'm actually going to quit the game right now and go to bed because it's 4 a.m. and I've caught up with where I need to be. If you want to follow or subscribe, I do dual stream on both Twitch and YouTube, so you can take your pick on the addresses that are on the left hand side. And I stream various things, Star Citizen, Elite Dangerous, and I'm probably going to stream a few other things at some point, but those have been my go-to games for a little while. Thanks to Domaldell and who else is still in YouTube? Probably Jerome is still here, so good night to those guys. Thanks for watching. Good night.